All right, we should have students coming in now.
Hannah, do you want to share your screen or do you want me to share mine? Okay.
Oops. Hello, we're going to give it a few minutes, let students join us today. If you could take a look at what we have on the screen, read up and see what you'll experience today, please. Thank you. You guys didn't receive anything that said how many students were joining, did you? Okay. All right, we'll just give about one more minute. All right, so we can get started in the interest of time. My name is Pam Swope. So welcome to our virtual college exploration program with the PACAC, which is our Pennsylvania Association for College Admissions Counseling. I see we have our one student here. I see you there, Colin. Just so you know, you are muted and we do not see your face through the entire presentation. And if you do have any questions at all, please make sure you use the Q&A button that you can see. Anytime you have a question, just type it in and we'll get to the questions at the end of the session today. If there's any other schools that you're interested in, you can sign up for more sessions just like you signed up for this one. And this session is recorded in case you want to come back and watch it again. So with that being said, I'm going to pass over the baton, if you will, to our two hosts from Xavier. They're going to get to it and tell you about their school.
All right, well, just kind of to start off, so we are so excited that you've planned on joining us either live tonight or you're watching this recording later on. So we are the two counselors who are responsible for helping to work with students in the Pennsylvania area. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself first. So my name is Haley Wolf. I am an admissions counselor here at Xavier. I've been working here for about a year now. I am actually super excited to tell you that I'm originally a Pennsylvania native. I grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I went to Lancaster Catholic High School. So if you're tuning in from there, very excited to work with you especially. But I also cover the Dayton, Ohio area as well as Northwest Ohio. I currently live out here in Cincinnati, and like I said, it's an amazing community. I'm not an alum, so I like to think my opinion is relatively unbiased and that I can kind of share a unique perspective because I chose this university to work at about a year and a half ago. So super excited to dive in, but I'll let my coworker Hannah kind of introduce herself first.
Thanks, Haley. Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah Shirkey. As Haley said, I am one of the other folks that has the great pleasure of working with the state of Pennsylvania. I primarily work with students that come from the western side of the state. So if you're more Pittsburgh, Erie area, you are with me. Like Haley said, I am also not an alum of Xavier University myself, but have been here since February of 2018. This is actually my third year working with students from Pennsylvania and have had such a great experience up to this point. So I am looking forward to getting to work with all of our Pittsburgh and Erie folks and anyone else from Western Pennsylvania again this year.
Awesome, very cool. And the excitement of the moment, I forgot to mention, Harrisburg over to Philly, that's the area that I cover as well. So just super pumped for today's session. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to kind of give you a sense real quick though of what we're going to be doing today. We're first going to be showing you a video. I know that Hannah and I are very much visual learners. We like to kind of have a canvas to paint on and really just be able to kind of put our ideas on as we're learning more about the university. So we'll show you that real quick. I know many of you probably haven't visited our campus too in the city of Cincinnati, so it'll be nice to kind of see what that looks like. We'll kind of talk through a couple of slides for about 20 minutes just to kind of give you a general sense of what it's like to join our Xavier family and become a Musketeer. And then later on, we'll talk about the application process and answer any questions that you might have as well. So that'll be kind of the formatting for today. So as I mentioned, be patient with me 1 second while I share my screen and we can go ahead and get off to the races. So let's go ahead. All right, So usually it takes me just a second to queue up, so. Here we go. Oh, technology, so fun. All right, so hopefully that gave you, again, a good sense of what our campus community kind of looks like, certainly what the city of Cincinnati looks like, and we'll kind of dive deeper into, again, who we are as a community. And usually one of the first things that we like to kind of talk about when we're talking about, again, the Musketeer experience, our Xavier family here in Cincinnati, is this phrase of all for one. And so if you've been on our campus before, maybe if you have gotten emails from us, if you've seen us at college fairs, you're probably familiar with this phrase because it's on practically everything we hand to students. And so why is it that this is our central mantra here at Xavier University? Why is it that kind of motto that our students know from the day that they step onto campus for the first time to the day that they walk out on graduation stage? Well, seriously, this word just really comes to inform a lot of different aspects of the Xavier experience. So one of the reasons that we have it is because, as you might know, we are a very large school spirit university. We have that phrase because we are the Xavier Musketeers here, and as you're probably familiar with the story of the three Musketeers, their rallying cry was all for one and one for all. So again, kind of on a more superficial note, that kind of speaks to one reason why we have that as our rallying cry here at Xavier. The second reason, though, it speaks to more of our heritage, our history here on our campus. And that's the reason for that is really because we're a Jesuit Catholic university. So you might be familiar with the Jesuits. Maybe you go to a Jesuit high school, or maybe you have started to look at your other college options here in the area. And you know, you're looking at some other Jesuit universities across the country. So you might be familiar with this, but really the main thing you need to know with the Jesuit order is that there are two kind of main charisms that come out of this tradition. One of them is going to be that real commitment to academic excellence. So obviously we're a university, so that's very important to us, right? Really striving for the best in our classrooms, whether that be in our major programs, but also in our liberal arts core curriculum. But you can also really see that second charism come out on our campus, and that charism refers to that commitment to service and solidarity. So it's really special, I think, for Hannah and I to be able to see this just on a day-to-day basis. Whether this commitment to service comes out in a more structured way, like our students committing or doing about 80,000 hours of community service each year, or whether this is, again, just kind of a more mundane experience. I know it was really special for us to see, again, just how mission-driven our students are here at Xavier when responding to the COVID-19 crisis this last spring. So our students, we have many of them coming from the East Coast, from the West Coast, and places like California, and many of them weren't able to travel back and move their things out because of the quarantine restrictions. And so it was really awesome to be able to see a group of local students from the Cincinnati area really band together on our Facebook page, organize, and reach out to these students and say, you know, if you need us to go in and move your things into our garage to kind of store here until you are able to move back in the fall, we're more than happy to do that. Or if you want us to go in and kind of package up your things and mail them back to you in your home state, we're happy to do that too. The Facebook page for parents as well was constantly flooded with parents who were really supporting our students and really just seeing how they could be of assistance if they were in the local area. So I think that really leads into that third reason why we have All for One as our motto here, which is just that really strong sense of community and connection that our students feel on our campus. We used to have a coworker, Rachel Richter, who was a student here, and I know her common experience was that she'd have to kind of allow for 25 minutes to get from point A to point B. And it's not really because our campus is big at all. I mean, you can get from one side to the other in about 10 minutes. But it was merely because, again, there's such a strong sense of family here that, you know, you have to allow for time for people to stop you and you to get kind of caught up in conversation that will naturally happen as you're a student on our campus. So to kind of expand on this a little bit more, it's always helpful, I think, for students to understand who makes up our community here at Xavier, right? What are the types of students that we attract? And so this slide will actually kind of start to give you some insights into kind of some answers for that question. So this is these are some statistics from our freshman class this last year. So these are students who are currently starting out. They started about a month and a half ago now. But they really speak to really the trends that we've seen over the last couple of years here at Xavier. A couple things that I really love to point out. Most of our students are coming from outside of the state of Ohio. And I think this is special not only for students that I work with that are kind of from the Dayton and Northwest Ohio areas, but I think it's special for any student who's coming from any part of the country, because what you can really start to see is that geographic diversity that exists in the United States. You might have a roommate who's from California, from Texas, from Boston or Chicago or Florida. Safe to say, lots of different accents going on in our campus, lots of different sports loyalties, which makes it super fun. But again, you really get the very diverse experience of what it's like to be American coming from all these different parts of the countries and regions. What I'll also say is one of my favorite statistics is that 40% of our student body are the only ones to come from their high school. So what does that really mean? What's the kind of story behind that statistic? Well, first of all, it means that we're a community of trailblazers. So we're a community of people who most likely did not know anyone when they were showing up that first day of college. But they're really empowered and excited by the idea of meeting a whole new group of folks. We're really not that experience where everyone went to high school together, now we're all going to college together, everyone's friend groups are set, everyone knows and is best friends with their roommate. That's really not the experience that we have. I think it also really speaks to the fact that our students have already really experienced that strong sense of community here. They've already been able to find that students have had the same experience they have and been able to really feel connected. And so I think that really emboldens them again to make that decision to come and join the Xavier family themselves. A couple other things, certainly we're becoming an increasingly diverse campus when it comes to first generation students, students of color, as well as students of many different types of religion as well. We have over 20 different traditions represented on our campus. So again, we are a Catholic university. We have great opportunities for students who want to go to Mass or get involved with other kind of more traditionally Catholic groups like the Kairos retreat. We have a lot of variations of that in our campus. But again, we're very much about interfaith collaboration and dialogue as well. And so whatever tradition you're really coming from, you can very much find a place and a home on our campus too. All right, so kind of to type into academics a little bit here, we have over 90 undergraduate majors here on our campus, so there's certainly a lot to choose from. And if you're not really sure what major you want to kind of pursue yet, we have a really great exploratory program. So a little bit different than maybe some other universities you're looking at. Our exploratory program is really awesome because it just that in the title really demonstrates that you are exploring your options. You're surveying all the different interests that you have and working actively to find what your passion is. So when you actually do find what you're looking to study, again, we have those 90 different options in 4 different colleges. We have the College of Arts and Sciences, which is going to be the home to our biomedical sciences program, biology, chemistry, as well as the humanities, so things like English, history, theology, and the like. Certainly we are increasingly becoming well known as a very strong health science university. So biomedical science and biology specifically are very large majors here. We have a lot of students who are interested in going the pre-med track. We actually just had a 92% placement rate into medical school in our class of 2019. So very excited about that, and the momentum is continuing to grow, obviously, for our pre-med and other pre-PA, pre-PT type students as well. We have our College of Nursing, so continuing in that health science kind of realm. Our College of Nursing is a direct admit program. Certainly really nice for students to know that when they're accepted to Xavier, they will know right away whether they are going to be starting classes their freshman year in that program. It's a cohort model, so you'll learn with that same group of people all 4 years. And what's really nice about our College of Nursing is that not only do we have brand new facilities in our Health United building on campus, simulation, skills labs, but we also have 10 hospitals in a 10-mile radius of campus, so students can really be able to take advantage of the local healthcare system. Cincinnati Children's, #3 children's hospital in the country, is about 10 minutes away, so a lot of our students will do their clinical rotations at that hospital as well. Moving into our College of Professional Sciences, we have majors like exercise science, social work, education, to kind of just name a few right there. Education is really great here at Xavier. We have a lot of upward mobility with regard to degrees, so master's programs as well as different certifications for principal licensure, intervention specialists, so a lot of different opportunities there as well. And then finally, we have our Williams College of Business. Aside from the health sciences, this is probably what we're most known for in the local and national community. We profit a lot off of the city of Cincinnati. So there's about 8 Fortune 500 companies here in Cincinnati, which is actually more per person than any other city in the country. So our students have a lot of accessibility to internships and companies like Kroger and Procter & Gamble, General Electric and the like, which is very advantageous for them long term and really building up their resume. We have a lot of really great professor connections too, who are very active in the business community. Certainly our alumni are very active, and there's just so many different opportunities, again, through our professional offices and our career office too. Now, across the board, whatever major you choose, or whether you're in one of our liberal arts core curriculum classes, you're going to see about 21 students on average in a class. We don't have a single lecture hall on campus, so if you're looking to be in kind of a 300, 400 person lecture hall, that's really not the experience we can provide you with at Xavier, but we certainly would encourage you to look at other universities where that might be kind of the case. Moral of the story, you're going to get a lot of firsthand attention from your professors, be able to not only just build your professional relationship with them and dive deeper into the field you're interested in, but you're also really going to be able to develop a personal relationship with them too. It's not uncommon for our students to grab coffee with them after class and be able to, again, kind of discuss those long-term interests, but also just to kind of bond with them over that mutual passion in their specific kind of field. So now, aside from that personal attention you'll get from professors, we also have great success teams here at Xavier. So we have an academic advisor that we'll give you. That will be someone who is a faculty member in your specific academic department. They'll meet with you once a semester to get your class schedule in order and make sure you're on the path to graduating in 4 years. You'll also receive a success coach who will be someone who is kind of like a counselor at the collegiate level, and they'll really be able to help you with that transition from high school into college, answer any sort of questions that you might have in those first couple of weeks especially, and point you to resources like the writing lab, math lab, and any other sort of supplemental instruction or tutoring on campus. You'll have a financial aid counselor, so that will be someone who will be able to help you with scholarship opportunities, filing the FAFSA each year, and just making sure that all those pieces of the puzzle kind of fit together nicely. Finally, you'll have a career coach, so someone who will be able to help you with your resume, help you build interviewing skills, and certainly be able to connect you again with those internship opportunities and other sorts of jobs down the line. And once you're a Musketeer, you have lifelong access to that career office too, which is really helpful. For students who, again, are looking for that extra challenge into their curriculum, we encourage you to look into our distinct honors programs. There are going to be 5 of them. One is University Scholars, which is the most wide-ranging. We also have a Smith Scholars program, which is for our business students, as well as 3 programs that are also majors here. So that'll be philosophy, politics, and the public, which is for mostly students who want to go into pre-law. There's a lot of governmental internship work built into that program. So working at a state office, on a political campaign, maybe in some nonprofit work as well. And about 40% of our students go on to law school after that. So definitely if that's an interest for you, I would encourage you to look at that program. We also have our Honors Bachelor of Arts for our classic students, which is going to be Greek and Latin focused. So if you've taken those classes in high school and you've found a passion for, the Aeneid and the Iliad, that's definitely going to be in your wheelhouse. And then finally, we do have our data science program, which is brand new. So we're still kind of learning about it, but if you're into computer science and kind of data analytics, that would definitely be a great program for you as well. Now, ultimately, all the things that we've kind of been talking about today really contribute to the fact that we have a 98% success rate. So what that means is that within 6 months of graduation, our students are either employed in a full-time position, are completing postgraduate work in either the master's program, maybe medical school, as I mentioned earlier, or they're going to be volunteering. And what's really great is that we have about an 85% knowledge rate on that too. So students are really excited to report back to us that they have been hired and are certainly making the most out of their education here at Xavier. So with that, I'm going to kind of turn it over to my friend Hannah, and she'll kind of talk to you about the more student life side of things.
All right, thanks, Haley. This is always some of my favorite things to talk about because, while you're coming to Xavier to be a student, of course, that's very important. But we also think it's really important that you have a little bit of fun while you're here too. So with that said, there's tons of ways to get involved at Xavier right off the bat, but probably the easiest is just by joining one of the 170 clubs and organizations that we have. In that 170, there's also 26 different club sports. Club sports are usually a nice way to kind of bridge the gap between maybe you don't want to play at our Division I level, but you want a little more competitiveness that maybe intramurals just can't offer you. You still get to travel, wear the X on your jersey, play other schools, but you have a little bit more time for yourself to focus on your studies or your social life or whatever it is it may be. With that said, though, there's clubs for pretty much anything that you can think of. What's really nice about Xavier, and what you can kind of see in this picture here, is we have a club day every single year where all the clubs will line up out on the Xavier yard, and you'll be able to meet people from those clubs, sign up for more information, maybe figure out when their first meeting is to see if that would be a good fit for you. Usually at Xavier, we recommend the rule of 3 when it comes to joining clubs. One is join something that you're familiar with, something you did in high school that you have a little bit of experience with that can make that transition from high school to college even smoother. One is something that is related to your major, so to get a little bit of that professional networking experience in, whether it's our professional business organization or the Student Nurses Association, whatever it may be, something that gives you kind of a glimpse into what it is your future career is truly going to hold for you. And then third is try something that's totally brand new to you. Maybe something that you've always wanted to try, but just never quite had the opportunity to until now. Maybe you love Pitch Perfect and that's your favorite movie and you've always wanted to try this a cappella singing. Maybe you'll join one of our a cappella groups, Acapellas. Maybe you think Whose Line Is It Anyway is the funniest show in the whole world and you've always wanted to try improv. Maybe our improv group, Don't Tell Anna, is a great spot for you to be in. So like I said, all of this to say that our club day is a really easy way for you to be able to get involved right off the bat while you're at Xavier. Additionally, there's some other ways that are really easy for you to get involved. If Haley will go ahead and move to the next slide for me. One of the easiest is by joining or really getting involved in your residence hall life. So something that makes Xavier a little unique, we do ask that you live on campus for your first 2 years that you're here. If you live outside of a 35-mile radius of Cincinnati, which coming from Pennsylvania, you certainly do. With that said, though, you do get your option of 4 different residence halls while you're here. One of them is Brockman Hall. This is kind of your traditional style residence hall with a communal bath at the end of the hallway that you share with your entire floor. 2 other options for you are Hussman and Coleman Hall. These are more of our Jack and Jill styles, where there are 2 rooms that are going to be connected by a shared bathroom between them. So you're only sharing that bathroom with 3 other people as opposed to your entire floor. And then finally, you have the option of Banger Hall, which is more of our suite style living option that has kind of that common space living room in the residence hall as well. Of course, as you move up in Xavier, more residence hall options are going to open up to you as well. After your sophomore year, once you get into junior year, you can decide if you want to move off campus if you want, but we certainly have the space for you available on campus if you choose that you want to keep living on campus and living, next to Xavier. Fortunately, as Haley mentioned, most of our students do come from outside the state of Ohio. Just as a, kind of point of reference, I really don't even work with any students in the state of Ohio. All of the students that I have the pleasure of working with as they're making their entrance to Xavier all come from outside the state of Ohio, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New York. Those are the types of students that I get to work with. So with that being said, those aren't necessarily students that can just go home on the weekend very easily, So we certainly don't turn into a ghost town on the weekends. There's always something going on, always something to do, especially since most of our students live within 3 to 4 blocks of campus. Whether it be our Student Activities Council hosting different, festivals, fairs, speakers, concerts, whatever it may be, or maybe you're heading to a basketball game in the Cintas Center. As I mentioned before, we are Division I. We're in the Big East Conference. One of the highlights, certainly, of coming to Xavier is you do get free tickets to every home event. I know our slide happens to mention basketball just because that's kind of what most people know us for, but it is a good time to be a Musketeer fan, and you get free tickets to any home Xavier event, not just basketball. So maybe if soccer's more your thing, or baseball, women's volleyball, whatever it may be, you can go to as many games as you want, totally for free. You're never going to have to worry about the cost of a student ticket. One of my favorite things, especially to talk about when it comes to Xavier, though, is our awesome location within the city of Cincinnati. I am actually not a Cincinnati native myself. I am originally from Louisville, Kentucky. I have been in Cincinnati for about 8 years now, but I tell people all the time, I love Cincinnati. I never want to leave Cincinnati. I just really like all of the things that are available for me to do here. We're kind of closing out on our fall festival season now. We just finished up Oktoberfest. We're actually home to the second largest Oktoberfest in the whole world. The only one we're behind is Munich, Germany, which is kind of a tough one to beat. But with that closing up, that means now we've got time for Festival of Lights at our Cincinnati Zoo. Winterfest at Kings Island, our amusement park. They turn the entire amusement park into this big winter wonderland. Once we get into the springtime, Taste of Cincinnati, the food festival that we have here, starts to come out. That's definitely my favorite festival, just because of all of the fantastic local cuisine that we have here. Again, being kind of from the South, one of my favorite restaurants is a biscuits and gravy restaurant next to where I live, where you get to just try all these different types of gravy. Very, very cool. There's some of the best chicken that I've ever had is here in Cincinnati. Really good burgers. We've got an amazing taco place. And if you haven't heard about Cincinnati chili already, you certainly will while you're here. It's definitely an acquired taste, but one that you must try at some point while you're here. Essentially how we do chili is we put it on top of spaghetti, and then we put shredded cheese on top of that. You can add onions and other things to it if you want. And like I said, kind of an acquired taste. But it's definitely worth trying at least. And anytime you come here, people will ask you if you prefer Skyline or Gold Star, and there is a right answer, and it is Skyline, just so that you're aware. Haley, would you go ahead and move on to the next slide for me? One of the other nice things about coming to Xavier, you do get to bring your car on campus your freshman year. That's always kind of a hot point for students, something that you want to know about. So you can have a car your first year on campus. With that being said, though, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the admission process as well. So one of the first steps to truly get the Xavier experience is just to visit campus. Fortunately, Xavier University is hosting in-person visits right now, essentially every day of the week. So truly whatever works best for you, weekends included. I know it is kind of a trek to come out to Cincinnati. Like I said, I'm very familiar with the Pittsburgh drive myself. So if a weekend works better for you, we are available on the weekends to be able to go out and give you personalized one-on-one tours of campus. We are also offering for our senior students some senior snapshot days, which are essentially a more abbreviated version of our larger open house days that we would typically host in the fall. During these days, you'll get to talk to people from our Student Success Office, which Haley touched on a little bit earlier. You'll get to talk to people from financial aid, and you'll get to sit in on a student panel, as well as get to go on tour and talk to some of our admission folks too. The easiest way for you to be able to register for those days is to go to xavier.edu/visit and just pick whatever day works best for you. If you visit Xavier and you decide, wow, I love this place, I have to apply, it is super easy to apply to Xavier. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. One is through our own Xavier application, but we're also on the Common application as well. So if you would prefer to just send out one application as opposed to however many schools it is you're applying to, you can just check off that you want Xavier to get your application as well. And we can read it that way. I get asked all the time, which one is better? Should I do the Common app or the Xavier app? Truly, it makes no difference to us. It's all about what is the most convenient and easiest for you. One of the big perks of applying to Xavier, though, is our application fee is $0. So it is totally free to apply to Xavier. So I always tell students, you might as well just add that little check mark and send it to Xavier too, because it's not going to cost you anything to apply. With that being said, we do ask for your official high school transcript, of course. If you are taking any AP honors courses, anything that adds an extra weight to your GPA, we do honor your weighted GPA. We also, this is a little new for us as far as test scores. Xavier is test optional. This is not our first year of being test optional. We were test optional last year as well. We were going to be test optional whether a global pandemic had happened or not. This is something that we're definitely going to continue. And one thing I always want to make sure students know as you're applying to Xavier and deciding, oh, do I want to send my test scores or not? We have experience in this. We have read applications for a year already without test scores, and we have looked more closely at things like the types of classes that you're taking and really read your essay and gotten to know you a little bit better. So this is nothing new for us. If you feel like your test score maybe isn't a great indication of what you're capable of as a student, you're not going to be penalized if you choose not to submit your test scores for consideration to be admitted to Xavier University. What I usually say to students who are kind of on the fence, not quite sure, is our middle 50% for the SAT is between about an 1110 and a 1310. So 50% of our students fall within that range, 25% fall below, and 25% are above. If you're taking the ACT, usually middle 50% is about between a 23 and a 28. If by some miracle you have been able to take the test and been able to take it more than once, we will super score your test, which simply means that we're going to take your best score from each of your different subsections and put them together and make that your new test score for you. Truly, we just want to see the best version of who you are. And if you have any questions about applying test optional or anything like that, you can always reach out to your admission counselor, which in your case would be either me or Haley, and we are more than happy to kind of guide you through that process as well. We also ask for a letter of recommendation from someone that knows you as a student. So that can be teacher, guidance counselor, principal, whoever it may be, just someone who can speak to who you are as a student. And then finally, we just ask for a short writing sample or an essay, which is already part of the Common application anyway. And that's truly all you need to apply to Xavier. We operate on what's called rolling admission, meaning that we read applications as soon as we get them. There is no early decision, there's no early action. You can truly apply to Xavier at any time that you want. With that being said though, I always recommend that students apply by December 1st, because this is kind of how you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. While Xavier itself does not have a specific application deadline, you'll notice some of our other specific programs do. So if you are interested in that direct admit nursing program, they do have an application deadline of December 1st in order to be considered for direct admission to that program. If you're interested in any of those honors programs that Haley mentioned, their application deadline is December 1st. We do offer some competitive scholarships here at Xavier. The application deadline for those is December 1st. I think you're starting to see a theme here that December 1st is the big day. But additionally, if you all filed the free application for federal student aid or the FAFSA by December 1st, we do give you a $500 grant simply for filing the FAFSA. So that's a really easy way to just get some additional free money, as I call it, more or less. And you all can start filing the FAFSA now. It opened up on October 1st. And that'll just allow you to be able to, take one more worry off your shoulders, certainly. I want to make sure I talk about scholarships as well, though. I did mention some competitive scholarships. These can range anywhere from a couple $1,000s all the way up to full tuition here at Xavier. So they're definitely worth looking into a little bit. They kind of satisfy different categories as well. One is more academics based, one is more community service focused, one is for multicultural first generation students, one is if you're interested in the College of Business, all of these different categories. And there's no limit to how many you can apply for. So if you wanted to apply for all of them, absolutely, go ahead. Keep in mind, though, that every student does receive a merit-based scholarship just for being admitted to Xavier as well. So they're still kind of finalizing what that range is for us, and we're going to find out in the next week or so here. Last year, those merit scholarships ranged anywhere between $16,000 and $24,000 per year. Those amounts are renewable all 4 years that you're a student at Xavier. So those numbers may change just a little bit for this incoming year, but that's kind of the range that we're looking at. Once you have applied for the university and gotten accepted and finished all of those additional applications, you will have access to your Road to Xavier online community. Essentially what this is it's a portal for you to be able to meet other students that are thinking about coming to Xavier and have been accepted. One of the nice features about Road to Xavier is you can filter for just about anything on there. So if you are looking for students that are interested in the same major as you, if you're looking for anyone that's from the same town as you to be able to connect and say, hey, I'm thinking about Xavier too, let's go together. Road to Xavier gives you that option as well. And that's a very easy way to be able to connect with some of your future classmates as well. One other thing about Road to Xavier is how you're going to be able to see your financial aid package. So if there is any updates in your FAFSA, or maybe we were able to award an additional grant, or, hopefully you are a recipient of one of those competitive scholarships, that's where you're going to be able to see those updates in real time on your financial aid package as well. And again, if you had any questions about that, you can always reach out to me and Haley, and we're more than happy to assist with kind of dissecting what your financial aid package looks like. Another great way to connect with some future classmates, every year there's always a Facebook page that comes up. So for your all's class, it would be Xavier University class of 2025. While it's not necessarily run through Xavier, it's an awesome way to be able to meet some other students and see, who's interested in the same things as you. A lot of students end up making Snapchat groups and GroupMe groups, and it's a great way to build this sense of community before you even step foot on Xavier's campus. May 1st is that National College Decision Deadline Day. When you say where it is that you're going to go to school, to say that you would like to come to Xavier the following fall, we need a $500 deposit from you by that May 1st deadline. That will go toward your first semester tuition and fees. It also solidifies your spot in the class of Xavier University 2025. With that being said, you'll take placement tests and pick your room and all that kind of stuff over the summer. And then you get to start the move-in process, your orientation, and the rest is history after that. Haley, one more slide. And then really what I want to leave you with today is just this idea of magis. In Latin, magis means more. Here at Xavier, we are truly looking for the more in everything that we do. How can we be the best version of ourselves? Where can we find more opportunity, whether that be academically, socially, spiritually, whatever it may be. So as you're going through your college search process and thinking about where it is that you're going to spend the next 4 years, I really want you to come back to this term magis and think about where is it that you're going to be able to find your more? Where do you feel like you're going to have the most opportunity to grow as a person and truly become that best version of yourself? Where do you think you're going to have the most opportunities to become a professional and grow socially and grow spiritually? Where do you think that's going to be? And truly, I do hope, and I know Haley hopes too, that you'll be able to find some of that magis here in the Xavier experience as well, because honestly, there's nothing like it, truly. I think that is most of what Haley and I have to say today. If you have any questions, definitely please type them in the Q&A. We're more than happy to answer them. Haley, you have anything else that you want to add on to it?
Yeah, no, I think just two things that I was noticing, and it's so great. I love kind of presenting with people because we always pick up new things from each other and we each kind of have our own style. So I think just one thing that I wanted to kind of tack on at the end that I think I neglected to mention earlier. So especially for students like yourself who would be coming from Pennsylvania, I know Hannah works with some other students from out of state too. More students who are going to be having that experience of maybe coming in and not knowing anyone, right? A lot of the times we get questions from those students, how do I meet people? And I think Hannah did such a great job in explaining that, before you even step foot onto our campus, there are ways to connect with people through Road to Xavier. Certainly we have some events in the spring that you can meet people at, our Muskies on the Road events. We have a cool event here called Experience Cincinnati in town. So there's a lot of ways before you come onto campus, but one of the biggest ways I know that our students connect with each other that again would be remiss without mentioning is called Manresa. And so this is really something that if you're a little nervous about what it'd be like to go to school out in Cincinnati, I would encourage you to kind of come back to this moment. And Manresa is actually, it's a nationally recognized orientation program we have on our campus. And it's so special, I know, for Hannah and I, because we weren't even a part of Manresa, but we get to watch it happen each year, and it's so beautiful. So our students, from the first moment they pull up onto our campus, in front of their residence halls, our Manresa move-in crew and our leaders swarm their car, open up all their car doors, their trunk. They carry everything that they brought to college up to their room, all the while, yelling and screaming and just making sure that they feel very welcome on campus. It honestly, like, I am an emotional person, I'll admit it. It brings a tear to my eye every single time, and it's just super sweet. And so over the next 4 days, after they get moved in and mom and dad kind of say their goodbyes, they do large group and small group activities. They enter into some really meaningful conversations with each other about certainly kind of some of the more practical things on campus, which is helpful, but overall just what kind of community they want to create, what they want their legacy to be as they kind of go through Xavier. And I think Father Graham, our president, says something really powerful during the start of Manresa. He brings together all the families, the students, and the parents and everything into our Centos Center, where you'll graduate in 4 years from then. You'll see all these great basketball games and other events. But he invites all of our freshmen to stand, and he says to them, look to your right and look to your left. And, he asks them to promise to do everything that they can over the course of those 4 years to make sure both those people, that, boy or girl on both sides of them, are walking the graduation stage with them in 4 years. And again, I'll say it, I didn't go to Xavier. I like to think this is relatively unbiased. I think that is such a unique experience of community that you get in being a part of the Xavier family and a Xavier Musketeer. And so I couldn't be more happy to call this place home, I know, for me. And I know our students very much feel the same way because of that experience too. So yeah, Hannah, that's all really I have to say. Anything else that you wanted to say before we sign off?
I think that truly covers it. I mean, same thing. I can't sing Xavier's praises high enough. It's definitely a place where you're going to grow as a person, and you're going to be able to create that, cura personalis that we have, which is care of the entire person, and, take everything that you learn at Xavier and be able to go out and set the world on fire, so to speak, and be able to make positive changes in the world. So if that's something that you're looking for, then Xavier is definitely going to be a good place for you to be able to grow and learn and be a person for and with others as well.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was a fantastic presentation. We very much enjoyed it. I'm going to share my screen one more time just to thank you for being here with us today. Please note a quick survey is going to pop up once you click out of the presentation. Again, please sign up for more sessions. We have so much to offer during this time, and this recording will be available should you like to watch it later. All right. Thank you for joining us, everyone. You have a great day. Bye.